I'm Adrian Baker. I'm the creator of SAHAJA SOMA and a psychedelic preparation and integration coach. In this video, I want to talk about something that is missing from a lot of the advice out there on psychedelic integration. It's best summed up by teacher Suzuki Roshi, who said that you're perfect as you already are, and there's always room for improvement. There's a paradox to embrace. Life, in a sense, is a paradox to embrace rather than a problem to solve. That sort of holding of the paradox a lot of times is missing from psychedelic integration advice, and it shows up like this. There's a lot of emphasis. In fact, some people are saying the whole point of psychedelic integration is you have to make sense of what happened through a story, and then you need to translate that into behavior change. That can be very good advice and very appropriate from one perspective, because if you're doing something like psychedelics or meditation or yoga or therapy after a period of time, and it's not leading to changes in your behavior and positive changes in your behavior, why am I doing this? But from one perspective, we need to expand that perspective. If our perspective isn't expanded and you're from a culture, a really modern capitalist society, developed societies, places like Korea, Singapore, Japan, and certainly American society where I'm from, that kind of orientation of viewing life constantly as a self-improvement project, and psychedelics are going to help me in this self-improvement project, can actually reaffirm in a sense of lack, in a sense of separation. That is one thing that psychedelics can help us with, but that's not the only thing it can help us with. Recognizing what Roshi said when he said, you're perfect as you already are. That is recognizing our innate wholeness, right? There is a part of us that is always and already innately whole, connected, worthy of love, and there's this other dimension on which there's always room for improvement. And what's really helpful in just understanding that on a very basic level is expanding our view through something like Ken Wilber's integral theory, where he says there are different dimensions of human development. And just to pick two, there's one, which is this area of psychological development and growth that we're talking about with self-improvement and behavior change. There is this other element or dimension of growth that he calls waking up, that's much more well mapped out in Eastern societies and in spiritual traditions like Buddhism or aspects of Hinduism that help us to recognize that innate wholeness that we already have. It's really important to be able to hold that paradox, because otherwise we can approach our psychedelic journey in a way that reinforces a lot of the issues that we have, and we're missing a key lesson of psychedelics, which is that there is this part of us that is always and already innately whole and connected. Different spiritual traditions have different ways of talking about this, so I'm not positing this is the only right way. But basically approaching it not only through that behavior change or psychotherapeutic lens, but also through that contemplative or spiritual lens is very important. And when I talk about a contemplative or spiritual lens, I don't mean to say you have to be into religion for this. Someone like Sam Harris articulates this very well. It is important to appreciate and have that view that there is that dimension to psychedelics as well, that psychedelics is waking us up to this recognition, but that isn't a recognition we need to be on a psychedelic to have. And that is why psychedelic preparation and integration, from my perspective, is very well grounded within a larger contemplative path or a spiritual path. I would highly recommend one of my teacher's programs, Mingyur Rinpoche's Joy of Living program, where he takes the wisdom of the Tibetan Buddhist path and teaches it as a real science of the mind in a very secular way. So on my teacher's Suzuki Rinpoche has an online course, Fully Being, which is also excellent. that's a really practical solution, is getting yourself not only learning meditation, but not just doing it from an app where you're learning random techniques, but putting yourself on a path where you're learning to recognize this insight that you can have on something like ayahuasca or SOMA or other psychedelics. Finally, for people who are interested in connecting these two, the contemplative path with psychedelics, and you're looking for support, this is what I enjoy doing as a psychedelic integration coach. So reach out if you feel that I could be supportive in this respect. So anyways, it's viewing life not just as a problem to be solved, but as a paradox to embrace. And this is a gift that Psych can wake us up to.